Well, good afternoon and a welcome to the Daily Potato Company live stream of the TSL Round 18 action, and a big game here for you this afternoon between the Tigers and North Launceston. Cracking afternoon for football. Looking forward to this one, an important game for North Launceston. They're going to keep their finals hopes alive. For the Tigers, it's largely about tuning up for September, given they seem reasonably locked into second spot on the table. I'm Andrew Calling the action with me this afternoon, Damien Gill. Very good afternoon, Damien.
G'day, Andrew. What a perfect picture today is for a game of footy. And as you really well put it just then, is that this is an important clash, particularly in the season of North Launceston. And they run home. If they're to play a meaningful role in finals, a scalp today would go a long way to making sure that happens.
Yeah, an enormous way. And that run home, they've got the exact same final month as the Southern Bombers, the team they're kind of fighting with for that final spot. The Magpies, North Hobart, Tigers and a bye, all in slightly different orders, but you'd imagine with just 6 percentage points between them, that it's going to be incredibly important how they match up against the Tigers today. If they can cause the boil over and the upset here, it would really put them in the box seat. But certainly with percentages in there, you want to be getting as close as you can, doing the damage. It's going to be quite the battle between the two Bombers. And looking forward to this afternoon as they try and squeeze their way into finals. Who's going to get the first clearance here? It'll go the way of the Tigers. Just flicked over the head. Cox Goodyear charging off half back as he has been for much of the season. Eddie Cole going in there. He's tacked by Leaf Lang. We'll have a ball up at half forward.
So the Tigers with the first foray. As the Rucks go at it. One down well by Lee. He'll be a key figure today. Simpson just squeezes out a kick. It was cut off by Rees, who sees it over in front of the Tigers faithful. A few youngsters there in the yellow sash of the Kingborough Tigers. Sun beaming down here. Terrific day for footy. So Rucks go at it. There's one down by Tompkinson, but not much to it. Event manufactures a kick. Clifford cut that off. And then he gifts it into the arms of Salzberger, who looks inboard. A dinky little ball, not a bad one. Finds the experienced Event. Been around a long time, Jack Event. See something he likes up ahead of the footy. It was Bennett, who just claimed Graham high. Matters little as Lovell bounds away, kicks towards the arc. A couple of Bombers fly for it. Good pressure provided there by Dygan. And the Tigers will hold it in around that 50 arc.
Should have good memories of this ground this season, the Bombers. Won here earlier in the year in a wet slog of a game. Slightly different conditions this afternoon as this is flicked over the top by Lee Fang. Hay was there, but the Bombers lose possession of the football here. Eddie Cole comes through for the Tigers. Lane just loses his footing and allows Ahern to drift across and take the relieving mark. He's off and told to go Jack Ahern, so he swings it out into the sun, which you can see is definitely a factor there, affecting Jack Event, who just chips one in short, and he finds Dominic Hay, who wheels and goes. He bounced it and it didn't come back to him though, turned it over. And will it be holding the ball at will? So free kick going the way of Eddie Cole, gets it moving quickly. Wasn't the greatest kick in the direction of Lovell. Lovell corralled by Cox Goodyear, two superstars of the competition there. And he chips it in short to Dygan. Dygan returns it back to Lovell, back to Dygan. Dygan just pokes one, looking for Clifford, made him work for it. In the end, the Bombers will be able to turn it over at half back. They wheel it into the middle of the ground. Ball in dispute, everyone runs over the top of it, allows in Tompkinson. Swept the handball to Sorty, and now the Tigers will swing it forward once more. Looking for Golding, couldn't quite complete the mark. Bennett doing nicely for the Bombers. Kept on going though, Golding gets it back, taken off the ball by Griffiths. Was he held without it though? Umpire's called holding the ball, advantage play on. Tigers win it back. Send it inside 50 now, searching in the Graham direction. Just pitched in front of him. Cox Goodyear across. Lovell prominent early, and he chips this one in and finds Eddie Cole. Eddie Cole will just wheel it back off to Lovell on the run. Sets Alpha home. It's always drifting across the face, but Gardner showing size and strength. And he takes the mark and will go back for a pretty routine shot at goal.
Leather poisoning early for Lovell.
He has been busy. He's got a goal assist. He puts through the first of the afternoon. Does big Marcus Gardner. Strong mark there, and the Tigers get some reward for their early forward pressure.
It's all Tigers so far, isn't it? Territory battle, well and truly on their terms. Very early, must be said. But Gardner on the board, first of the afternoon, and nice little block of play from those Kingborough Tigers mids, the likes of Cole, Clifford, and in particular Lovell. A lot of the football. And that's something Coach Brad Cox-Goodyear would be concerned about. If you let Lovell run riot, scoreboard will get out of control pretty quickly.
They did really well in the midfield battle last time they played down here, but Tigers have started brightly.
They have indeed. It's umpire Geeson opts for the throw. I like it from him. Tompkinson just taps down Simpson straight towards 50 for the Bombers. Digan cuts it off. He's been busy early. They bound off half back now, the Tigers. A long raking ball. Looks destined for Brad Cox-Goodyear. He tries to shove off a couple, but he runs into Graham, and it's a Tigers ball. He'll be made to take it back. So it'll be O'Neill, who kicks long into side 50. Tyler Carter, the target. Off hands, a squeezy little ball will be cut off by Nankervis. He's claiming an immediate tackle by Golding. And the pressure, hot from the Tigers so far in this one.
Yeah, they've jumped out of the blocks here. Won by 2 points last time they met. So 1-1 on the season meetings as Cox-Goodyear just clears defensive 50. Reese going back with the flight of it. Coming through was Hobbs. Man Shandon trying to lay a tackle on a man much bigger than him, Tompkinson. Just brushed him off. Now the Tigers can chip it inside 50. Gardner, the target, just floats a little too far out ahead of him. Able to reel in second forward 50 mark of the opening few minutes here. Big Marcus Gardner. It wasn't a great kick there to Lee. Had to stoop to gather it, was able to do so. And then his kick is just chopped off by Zach Adams. Just floating up. Does so much of his good work intercepting. And it earns him a shot at goal here. Opts to just punch it into the pocket. Right on, Samuel Digan had just snuck into that space. No one with him. And gives him a better shot here. A good start from Digan. Been busy in the opening moments of this one. The Tigers just controlling the football for the time being. Can they find a second goal? Open up a 12-point break early here. Tiger will kick from around about 40. Floating across the face and a minor score only.
So Kingborough with all the scoring so far, 1-1. The ball has been hemmed into their half, it must be said, as Cox-Goodyear brings them out from full back. The travelling Bombers is with Will Harper. He finds his target in Jack Vent. Stalwart of this Northern Bombers outfit hits up a target. He's seen a lot of change and a lot of new faces, and one of them being Sulzberger. Misses his mark. Griggs slips through his fingers. They keep on going here, the Bombers. They'll try through a web of hands. It came from Manchanden. A kick inside forward 50 now. It was almost there. Elijah Reardon cuts off. Bennett now sniffs it off. Claimed in a good tackle as Reardon butted up. And it will be a rare glimpse inside forward 50 for the Bombers in this opening term.
Yeah, first time they've had a 4A forwards, and they make a count on the scoreboard. Tompkinson over the top of Hobbs. Strong tackle laid by Pearce. Then a snapshot there. I think it was Bennett got his kick away, but right on the last line of defence is College, and he's able to take the relieving mark. He'll try and clear defensive 50, looking for Tompkinson. Lee came over the top. Here in Lovell. Bounced off a tackle of Manchanden, who asked the question of holding the football. Not rewarded. We'll have a throw in at half forwards here. Tigers started nicely here. The Bombers looking to respond. An important afternoon for their finals chances. Victory a long way for them. Tompkinson, Lee, and Lovell came crashing through. Brewer couldn't keep a hold of the football. Man Shandon now looking to skip free. Did the arm just slip up there by Ashland? It did. And the free kick will go the way of Man Shandon. An exciting customer. He'll go back from around about 50 out here.
It's been the hot topic in footy circles, hasn't it? The high free kick.
It really has. And I don't think umpires' lives have been made any easier by the last couple of weeks. Tough one, very tough one. Amazing what one man can do.
Exactly.
As Man Shandon will kick here from around about 48 out. It wasn't a good kick. He wheeled off to the right and in the end slams it into the post. No score.
Never looked likely there, young Man Shandon, but I like him as a player. Speedy forward. Added a lot for the Bombers this year as Reardon brings it back from the last line as we a screech of birds here at Twin Ovals as Godomski uses his raking boot. Looking for Gardner. Not a likely crummer, it must be said. In the end, he accidentally kicks it out on the full. So it's a Bombers ball as they look to repel it. Jacko Vent's been busy. Links up. Cox Goodyear, and now it'll be a sizzling ball inside 50. The target was Harper, went through his fingers. Donnelly, good hands, finds Reardon, shakes off one, returns the favour to Donnelly. Down the line, Ashland, shake and bake, gets it moving. Looking for Gardner again, he looks the likely type. Over the top of him came Lane. They get out of dodge for just a moment, the Bombers, and that's all it'll be as the kick went out on the full. And Ashland will bring the Tigers back in once more.
So the Tigers will look to swing this one towards half forward. Looking there for the target of Jordan Lane, couldn't bring it down. Fought on from ground level, knocked it on cleverly. Now Tyler Carter on a lead. Got down and gathered it, just got his kick away in time, squared it up, charging through his Lovell, shrugged a tackle, swung it towards goal. It's bending back. And Kieran Lovell has kicked a superb goal. He started this one on fire and he shrugs through a couple of tacklers there and drives through the second of the afternoon for his side. Superb stuff, Kieran Lovell. He's a star of this competition, this man.
He's a class above, isn't he? He certainly showcased that on that occasion. Just divine kick for goal. Just the way he worked the angles. And well shepherded through, it must be said, in the last line.
Always good when I see an actual shepherd that isn't just manhandling someone that would be a free kick anywhere else on the ground. That was just nicely done.
It is one of the quirks of the game, isn't it? That you can get away with just about anything on the goal line.
You can assault a man.
You can get away with just about anything, but that one, I'm with you. A good shepherd on the line as Gardner brings it to the floor. Manchanden did well, cut it off, and he'll win another free kick. Young Manchanden, there's a handball on. He opts to go with it to Bales. Bales kicks inside forward 50, looking for Harper. He does well, picks it up, caught in a tackle, Reardon. And I think it's high again. It was Rees. He came in, he was just a little over energetic there and just clipped high. So it'll be, I think it's Ives there with a footy. I'll have to double check. Camera angles do us no favours. No, it's not Ives. It's Mansell, the Oscar variety. A lot of Mansells have come through the halls at North Launceston. So Oscar Mansell. Beyond the pain of 50, he ticks over, sends his kick on the way. A much needed goal. The Bombers, he can't quite connect. Hits the woodwork, but the Bombers are on the board here at Twin Ovals.
Elijah Reardon just punches one out to Brady Rees, who thought that was knocked out of his hand there by Mansell. Gave it back to Reardon, so creative off half-back Elijah Reardon. And he spreads this one wide because he spied Big Tompkinson in some space. That's where he heads, and Tompkinson now can send the Tigers forward. Kicked it to a 2-on-1 though, in favour of the Bombers. Well, back in dispute, Eddie Cole bringing some good pressure. Tigers will work it inside forward 50. Carter the target. He just got rid of Lee Fang. Size and strength again shining through in this Tigers land of the Giants they've got with Gardner down there and Jordan Lane along with Carter. It's a tall group they've got. Tough to defend. And just putting it up there, giving him a chance to pluck. Working out nicely in the early going. So a chance for Tyler Carter to extend the lead to 3 goals. He swings that one through. It's been a successful year coming back from an injury. A bad one from Tyler Carter. He continues his goal-kicking form and got their 3rd on the board.
Definition of an enigma is Tyler Carter. Just, you look at him, you just think he can't be a quality key forward. It doesn't stack up, but boy, is he. He's a quality player inside forward 50 for the Tigers. Really good in the air, competes well, but he also at ground level and also in ruck contests in forward 50 can do some magnificent things. He's one of my favourite players running around in the TSL. Has a bit of swagger about him too. Reliably informed by the people at Twin Ovals. He only eats, I think, hot chips and maybe white bread. Not much else. That's his working diet as Lee gets it down for the fall of event. Reardon doesn't quite complete the transaction, drops it off for Godomski. Beyond the arc he goes. Lovell feeds out a handball. Donnelly with some bounce. He looks, sees Cole. Cole climbs over the top, did well to provide a contest. Clifford just dealt with his opponent. Off for Griggs, squeezes out a kick. Off hands, he'll come over the top now. The Tigers all over North Launceston as it stands. Lane with the mark, right on 50. Powers towards Tompkinson. He's towards the square and it's going to go against the Bombers. A bit of handling. Tompkinson says, let me just kick it from here. Not allowed, as it was Lee Flang who was in a one-on-one wrestle with Tompkinson, which is not a nice place to be, it's fair to say.
Yeah, big Tompkinson, his eyes lit up when he saw he had the size advantage in that one-on-one. Just said, stick it on my head, and that's duly what they did.
So now Tompkinson a little confused. Comes on in and powers the ball over to Lightwood Park. With some gusto goes Tompkinson, and Kingborough are well and truly on the march here in the first term. A dominant display against the travelling Bombers. Yeah,
their big forwards doing the damage. Tompkinson, he joins Gardner on the scoreboard there. The big boys really causing some carnage, but still starting in the midfield. They're getting it down there pretty quickly, giving him some good one-on-one looks, giving him some good service. The day where you'd much rather be playing this Tigers forward line than the Bombers thus far, given what you're being delivered.
Well, zero supply, really, for the Bombers. So, yeah, dominant stuff, the Tigers, and the tools on top, as you said, Drewy.
Gardner wins this one down. Speaking on top, Lovell just overrun that, but he's had it on a string early on here. Trying to bounce free is Clifford. Gardner out to Eddie Cole. A little in the back, play allowed to continue. Simpson trying to palm one off, just got it out to Jack Events. Events swings them forward, but it's easily chopped off back there by Godomski. Godomski squares it back inside to Lovell again. He's a real conduit through midfield and starting so many of their attacks here. He swings this one out wide to Zach Adams, who can lope forwards here and drive them in once more. Tompkinson just gets rid of his defender. Cox Goodyear dropped back in the space. Well, Tompkinson kept on keeping on. He follows up with another tackle under pressure there, Harper. And in the end, it'll be locked up at half forwards, but the big fella working hard there, Gilly.
Becoming a real problem, that tall timber inside forward 50. As Tompkinson wins this hit out. Digan at the floor. He's been pretty nifty so far as well. Simpson, sharp hands, gets it off. And with the dash of Hay, back for Event. Simpson again, snapping ball towards 50. They haven't had too many looks here. Donnelly, good tackle. So the Bombers with some serious work to do. A 24-point advantage here. Pretty deep in the first term. Been impressive so far, the Tigers. Lee has it to himself. Drops it straight down to Simpson. The kick will come inside 50. And a good tackle provided by Tommy Bennett. It is an incredibly young North Launceston team. You have to just check yourself at times. As here's Ives in the ruck up against Tompkinson. Off the back of Ives, I'm not sure he knew much about that one, as Sulzberger is greeted by Tompkinson in a very heavy tackle. He wouldn't like a cuddle from Tompkinson. I don't think he's not your gentle type as he goes over the back with that hit out. Farmed out a handball to Clifford. Really nice stuff. They bound away through Brewer. He goes long. Out of the reach of Gardner. It's picked up by Lee. Blocked as he went to get rid of it. Good tackle there provided by O'Neill. Comes out the back lane. Couldn't. Ahern for the Bombers. Into vacant space. Just too hot to handle for Mansell. Coming through was Reardon. Squeezy little ball. Good enough to find Lovell. He's brought his own share into the footy today. Receives it back. Kicking towards Tyler Carter. Inside 50, wastes no time. Carter wheels around, looks deep, and why not when you've got Gardner presenting like that?
Again, just put it on the big guy's head at the top of the square. They've got the size advantage. And again, just winning the ball back high up the field. Repeat entries. The Bombers getting blown out here. Twin Ovals to start this match.
Came to the footy hoping for a close one. So far, way too good. The Tigers, as this is steered through from Gardner. His second of the first term, and the talls are really starting to become a problem for the Bombers.
Yeah, this is the type of football that I'm thinking the Tigers might be able to produce and push Launceston in finals. This is why they've been talked about as the team perhaps best positioned to give the clear front runners a test this year, because this is the ceiling. This is what they can produce. They've got guys who can just kick goals if you get it into them. They've got so many options. Jordan Lane's been one of the players of the season for them. Barely had a touch, and they're 5 goals to the good here. That's how diverse their weapons are.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, while Lane maybe hasn't had a touch, he's drawn probably their best defender to the footy. So it's all part of what really makes it work.
It's impressive stuff as Tompkinson battles with Ives here. One down to Lovell again. Another clearance, but this one turned over, and the Bombers can try and gain a hold of the ball here through Bennett and just possess it a little bit. It's been played at a furious tempo, and that seems to be suiting the Tigers a lot more. They've turned it over once more. Eddie Cole ships it out to Luke Graham on the wing. Thought about a quick one to Dygan and then thought better of it. They eventually shift it wide to Gardner, who's just going to launch it long lane, the fly. The spoil came from Ahern. Pumping out a handball was Cole. It was a good one. Found a man in space there in Golding. Man Shandon working back. Knocked it across to Chug, who tries to clear defensive 50 and just pitched inside there. They'll get a stoppage, but really struggling to transition out of defence are the Bombers at the moment. Tigers winning the ball back. Their pressure really impressive on the ball carrier, just forcing turnovers. It's back into play once more. Tompkinson palmed it down towards the boundary line and out of play ahead of Sulzberger.
Period start from the Kingborough Tigers. Second on the ladder for a reason. If you've watched on this first term, you can only be impressed with what they've produced, really. They've owned territory, and the footy comes in. Tompkinson drops it off for Cole. Cole now for the run of Griggs. Shakes off one. An unconvincing kick just spirals into the arms of Dygan, who's had a good first term, it must be said. Sammy Dygan very busy indeed. Drops it off for Rees. Rees. Kick to the talls, you'd suspect. Pokes it into the pocket. Lane, 1 bite, 2 bite. Enough, says the umpire, and we said he's the only one that hasn't got on the board just yet. He might have heard us.
Yeah, his turn. Just can't cover them all. Just everywhere you look, they seem to have a favourable matchup somewhere. They're finding where that is, and the big men are just plucking everything at the moment for the Tigers. There's 6 different goal scorers if he kicks it, I believe.
Gardner's kicked 2.
Ah, right.
Yep. As we look at Lane, well, he'll be the 4th tall to kick a goal, which is impressive. Lane crosses the paint of 50 and take a very good kick. Got a good view of it here on the Daily Potato live stream. Just left it hanging out to the right, and in the end, lucky to see it pushed over for a behind.
Just behind there as Cox Goodyear sells a little bit of candy there to Griggs, and Sends it out of defensive 50, but again, it's going to come right back at him. Eventually won back, though, by Mansell. Got it to Bennett. Bennett drives it inside to the corridor, and he finds a marking target in Sulzberger. Sulzberger just chips this one out to the far wing for Thomas Bennett. And Bennett will drive them deep inside 50. Went looking for Pearce, couldn't find the mark. Good tackle laid by Harvey Griffiths. That'll keep it locked in. Going nowhere was Brewer. They force stoppage inside forward 50 as try and find the first goal of the afternoon. It's not been down here terribly often. Ives came through, but all good effort from the ground there by Pearce. Keeps it in there. Wrapped up again is the big fella Tompkinson by Pearce. Charging through now Griffiths. He's heading towards the boundary line though and running out of room. So another throw in as they try and build a bit of pressure here, the Bombers.
That was a decent little patch of consolidated pressure, wasn't it?
They've been few and far between. Opportunity here, perhaps, as Harper, leading in the ruck again, goes towards the line, and again, Kieran Lovell gets a possession, working his way up the ground. Cox Goodyear just got thumped in the head there by Eddie Cole. Not allowed to continue. Stooping low was Gardner. Just keeping in O'Neill, whose work rate has been furious to start this one. And again, the Tigers' defence able to work it away out of there. They're holding firm at the back and dominating around the ground.
They've been very impressive. Geez, I would love to know how many touches of the footy Kieran Lovell's had. I'd hazard a guess 15. He's had that much of the ball, and here he is again. Shakes off a couple. Adventurous little bouncing ball. Pearce, good tackle. Climbing on top of Big Tompkinson. Geez, I like the way he goes about it. Ashland off to guess who. Lovell again. Adams over the top. See something he likes in the form of Graham. And they are all over this game, the Tigers. Incredibly impressive footy as Graham finds Ashland. They have just dominated possession and territory. Ashland now, high ball, calling for the Talls, punched away from them. They look to get out here, the Bombers, through Bennett. Juggling mark from Rees will see it come back pretty quick smart. So Rees, those long flowing locks, goes long. Oh, that's a great grab. Climbing over the top was Adams. So Adams now, again, he's got, you know, pick your poison down there when it comes to the Talls. As he goes long, looks in the direction of Gardner, doesn't quite get there. That's a great grab. Coming back with the flight, Tommy Bennett doing it opposite end. Great to see.
So Bennett, he's defensive 50, but didn't really do his teammate Nankervis too many favours there. Sulzberger rather is trying to track it down. It was tight to the line, couldn't do so. And again, just struggling to possess the football and keep a hold of it. The ball use hasn't been great. At the back, Gardner won that down decisively. Bounced off Godomski. Tackle laid by Ahern. Getting nowhere, Riley Ashland. Still time, you suspect, for another here for the Tigers. Gardner won it down. Man, Shandon met by a solid tackle of Eddie Cole.
Is that another high tackle?
And one that went a little high, and easy to do on a man of Shandon's stature. Cole met him firmly. And Shandon gets the free kick, and again, he's just forced to chip one wide. That's surely not 15. It won't matter. The siren sounds, and that is a dominant quarter from the home side. Tyler Carter looking to fight on here. There's been plenty of fight from his side in the first quarter. They lead this one 5-2-32. The Bombers just one behind. We're expecting a reasonably close one here this afternoon. At least I was. It has been utter dominance from the Tigers after quarter number one.
Yeah, a shame if you're a North Launceston supporter tuning into the Daily Potato Co live stream. Unfortunately, it's been all yellow and black so far. Dominant display from Kingborough. and a display that's been really punctuated by the tall targets inside 50, Drew. Goals from Gardner, Carter, Tompkinson and Gardner again. With the other goal, an absolute cracker from Kieran Lovell, who's probably had it nearly 20 times inside a term. So if you're Trent Baumler heading to the huddle, you're grinning ear to ear, aren't you?
I think everything would have gone to plan. You just got to be delighted with that quarter. 82-80 last time these sides met. Last time they met down here, it was the Bombers who blew them out, and blew them out off the back. Well, blew them out, it was 51-17 or something. Really wet game, but did it off the back of their contested work around the ball, their midfield game. Jeez, that has not been the case today. They really need to put the clamps on Kieran Lovell quick smart, because he has just torn them to shreds that quarter. The amount of first possessions he got after the ruck contest, obscene from one man.
Yeah, completely and utterly dominant. You run out of superlatives when you witness displays like that, but terrific, terrific footy. And I think the thing about this Kingborough side, while he gets to run and go to work and do a lot of the offensive stuff, he's really well complemented by Eddie Cole and Lockie Clifford that get in the trenches and do a lot of the hard-working defensive work around those contests, and they work in so well together. They're a really dynamic team.
Out of possession, they've just been harrying and troubling the ball carriers for the Bombers. Every time they've had it, they've not had time to think and try and work their way through situations. It's been quick kicks, and that's just led to these constant turnovers and has allowed the Tigers just to control that territory game.
It's an interesting one, Drew. So the role of Bradley Cox-Goodyer has put himself behind the footy, and I understand why, as a coach, why he'd do that, particularly with the young side, but they just need his grunt in and around the footy, you sense.
Yeah, I could see him. He kind of picks his moments to charge up the ground a bit, but yeah, maybe it's in at the centre square for first centre clearance at quarter number 2. Just try and get them to fight back a little bit in that area, because it's been a walloping in there, and wherever he plays on the ground, he's going to have an impact. There's no doubt about that.
Now, it is a gorgeous day down there at Twin Ovals, but we, of course, call this from a studio, so we're not out in the elements, and that's the only thing I'll just put a caveat around this. There's always a chance of a decent swirling breeze at Twin Ovals, and you always like to see 2 quarters played just to see what sort of influence there is. Now, it doesn't seem significant, but you just never know until you've seen a full half of footy, I sense.
Yes, certainly could be a factor. You don't want to go too far one way. It looks reasonably still off, obviously, the images we're getting here. You can see the trees in the background not doing a heap. Didn't seem to be impacting kicks a heap. A little bit, perhaps a couple of times balls held up, but if anything, it seemed to be kind of swirling around. So whether that's favouring the end the Tigers just attacked or not, we'll find out in the second quarter, but I certainly think it's more to do with their dominance around the ball than potential wind advantages, but certainly something to keep an eye on in that second term.
It is indeed. 31-point lead to the home side, the Kingborough Tigers. Stay with us here as we rip into quarter number 2 with thanks to Daily Potato. So they feasted on the Bombers in term number 1, the hosts. How do the North Launceston outfit, proud and historically very, very successful North Launceston outfit, respond in quarter number 2, do you think, Andrew Cooling?
We'll wait and see if they change anything personnel-wise, but they've just got to do better around the contest. Certainly a lot of that starting in the ruck. Nick Tompkinson's kind of having his way in most of these contests. They've got to do better around the ball. That's where it starts. And just move the ball with a little more purpose. Saw him try to take a couple of risks to move it through the corridor, but unfortunately the foot skills let them down. But they're going to have to keep doing that a little, roll the dice and play some attacking football. It's a fair hole they're in after just 1 quarter here.
Is indeed. Tompkinson called his name a lot in that first term. He beats Lee to it. Simpson probably held. He will get a free kick. One of the prime movers for North Launceston. Played in a number of premierships. Still only a young bloke as he kicks long. Well, cut off by Reardon. Guess who? Lovell finds Clifford. Clifford in ball. A low-flying ball for Tompkinson. The big fella picks it up, then draws a crowd. Somehow goes unpinned. Should have been only the footy, but I'm not sure if the umpire was blinded.
When the player looks directly at the umpire guiltily like that, it's a fair indicator.
It was a fair old oh no. As the whistle will bring this one back. I think it's going to be ball up. Will. So up it goes again. Lee and Tompkinson. Lee slaps it away. Tompkinson had a fair chunk of his opposing numbers shirt there as it's a tricky little kick. Cut off by Simpson. Now with Ashland. Off to the call of Reardon. Reardon kicking out into space. Should be cut off by the Bombers in the form of Lee Flang. He got himself in a spot of bother, and then Carter arrived on the scene, has the sanctuary of the boundary line. So inside forward 50 once more for the Tigers. Very much so the rhythm of the first term. As it comes in again. Gardner this time in the ruck. Lee straight down to Cox Goodyear. He looks long. It's almost claimed in the air there by Hobbs. Out it goes. So if you are just jumping on the Daily Potato live stream, 5-2-32 plays 1 behind, and it's been all the Kingborough Tigers.
A dominant first quarter here, and on the attack again early in quarter number 2, looking to draw first blood. First the ball though, Event immediately besieged by Clifford. That gives it a chance, but that was going nowhere. Clifford with his pressure around the ball early in this one. Tompkinson gets the better of Lee. Simpson dives in, might have been in the back though. And it is, it's going to be a free kick to Eddie Cowell. Cowell looks up, the leads begin to present. They had great success here in quarter number 1. Just pumping in deep to the big guys. Man Shannon playing on the ball today, looking to charge off half-back here, but the spoil came. Simpson and Cole again battling away. Enjoyable scrap so far. The battle developing early on. Boys in dire need of the first goal this quarter. They're going to get themselves back into this one. Dygan looking for a free kick, none forthcoming.
Looks very uncomfortable, doesn't he?
He's very ginger after it too. Up to his feet, but looking a little proppy. Samuel Dygan started brightly, had a really good quarter number 1. Gardner up against Lee. Lee won it down, flicked over the top, and they'll clear it up towards Thomas Bennett, but a fist came from Cooper Sorty, who sees that out of play.
So Tigers being terrific in both attack and defence. Terrific ball there from Sorty, albeit the kick to the advantage of Bennett. As it comes in again, Tompkinson and Lee. Lee bested him on this occasion. Flying handball from Hay. Found a vent. Looks down the line and all yellow and black as Godomski takes it. Looks inboard. Aggressive kick. Finds Adams. Adams back for Godomski. Oh, he just got it away in the nick of time. Kicking out the vacant space. It's out there with Goulding. Takes his time and then pokes towards 50, and Lee Flank took a good grab ahead of Reardon. So the Bombers holding up okay in this second term thus far as it kicks along looking for a target out there for the Bombers. It's unconvincing but finds its way out. It's now with Pearce. Pearce, a grubby old kick, will work okay for Hobbs. Hobbs pokes over the top for Bennett. So Bennett from 50. He goes over the top, finds a vent. Mark not paid. So again, the Tigers will repel. Gardner, good grab on the wing. Too big, too strong. Been the case all afternoon.
It has. It's been the defining feature of this game as Jordan Lane presents up and takes a nice mark. Dishes it to Lovell, who's just doing what he wills at the moment through the middle. Shifts this across to Clifford. He's got a man on in the pocket. That's just where he heads. Couldn't quite find Goulding, though. Goes back, gathers it at ground level. His kick impacted, and a diving Tyler Carter just keeps that one up above the ground. He's off his mark. Oh, kept going, then flicked it over the top. Then a snap from O'Neill. He is wildly off target and out of bounds across the face. No score there. There's Carter.
He's box office entertainment, Tyler Carter.
Just making things happen. Wasn't the most elegant piece of movement you'll ever see, but turn it in. So a nice piece of play. Got the better of his defender. This one's pumped out of defence. Bennett couldn't claim the mark though, and Lovell's got another possession. And he's just spotted Lane, who had a fair piece of that. And he's a lovely kick, Jordan Lane, so we might get a pretty good indicator of any wind here through this kick, I reckon. Not really been any shots up this end to get much of a gauge on it. So dominant with the Tigers in quarter number one. He certainly looks confident he can carry the journey. To behind in quarter number one, Jordan Lane, looking for his first of the afternoon. We only have that tall quartet yet to find a goal. Let's fly from 50 out. Just drifting across the face. Got the journey all right, but didn't have the line. So another minor score. The lead for the Tigers at 32.
So Cox Goodyear wastes little time, finds Nankervis. There's the job on Lane today. It's a good matchup. Juicy one. His kick cut off by Donnelly. He's had a terrific season, really emerged this year, Ben Donnelly. Side forward 50 now with a kick. Lane, mark not paid. He thought for certain it was a mark, but umpire Geeson says clipped on the way through. Nonetheless, a stoppage inside forward 50 for the Tigers. So Carter doing the ruck work, takes it straight out, farms out the handball. Norflonny cut it off now with Nankervis. His ball meant for Bales over his head, almost for Ashland. All pile on in. It's Cooper Sordy who had the footy. So another stoppage, this time on the wing. Norflonny just trying to hold off these ferocious Tigers as it's tapped down. Cole almost slipped through his fingers. A good little passage here, possibly for North Launceston as man's hand and was manhandled. So it'll be Tigers ball through Donnelly.
He's just a real shield for them up on this wing at the moment. Donnelly, not much getting past him. Killing contests, taking intercepts. This time, kicking the ball straight back to the opposition. They've been having a pretty flawless game up to that point as Cox Goodyear sweeps it inside with the dart of a kick to Sulzberger. He'll continue the switch here as they've got some room to manoeuvre and out wide. Lee Fangs come flying out of defence. centred in the Harper direction. He's labouring towards it. And Elijah Reardon sneaks it in front and sees it out of play. Again, breaking down in transition, the Bombers able to hit the targets. It's just continually being broken up by the Tigers. Tough day to play this Bombers forward line. One down by Lee. Taking it was Sulzberger, swept the handball out wide and then chipped back where Hay was waiting. He dished a quick handball, flicked over the top. Here's a chance now perhaps for the Bombers, driving it deep, looking for Pearce. Godomski was there, knocked over the top. Handball from Brewer. He found College. His kick wasn't a great one. He's turned it over here, swung back goal, but it's an awful kick straight down the throat of Cooper Sorty, who couldn't believe his fortune as he took it and just dished it to Adams. Adams over the top for Rees. Rees has a man over the top. Salter. He opts to ignore Big Tompkinson. Instead, went back inside looking for Graham. Plenty of Bombers there. Cox Goodyear got the handball away. Great tackle from behind there. The pressure relentless once more from the Tigers. Bombers have done well to keep a hold of it though. They're swinging inside 50, but once again it's all Tigers, and Godomski takes over.
Far too easy for the Tigers as Godomski sweeps it across to Lovell. Lovell into vacant space. The line will just beat Ashland. A lot of the football this afternoon, Kieran Lovell. Unfortunately, that passage just seemed it looked reasonably bright for the Bombers, but the kick inside 450, there's just nothing there for them. It was all Kingborough. They're peeling off so well, the Tigers, to have that extra. That's great ruck work from Alex Lee. Finds a vent in space, able to measure a ball. Looking for Mansell, gathers, squeezes it out of ball. Almost there is Rees. We'll find Reardon. He's got the extra again. Steers it onto the wing. Graham collects. Pokes it towards Salter. They move it with pretty ease as it comes across from Ashland. Now to Adams. Adams looking directly to Tompkinson. I think he just strayed high on Nankervis, or is it going to go the way of Tompkinson? Tompkinson. So Tompkinson to line up for goal number 2. This is the first of the second quarter. We've gone almost 12 minutes. It was amazing how easily they transitioned from defence to attack then, Kingborough. Far too easy if you coach Brad Cox-Goodyear. Here's Tompkinson. He's been a real problem. Look at the kids in the background all wanting the footy. Tompkinson will send it on its way. They rush across, too far across if you're a Kingborough fan. A minor score.
A bad miss that one from Tompkinson. But you mentioned it, the way they were able to move the ball there, it's just night and day from the Bombers, who are having all sorts of trouble and just not hitting their targets. In particular, when they are going inside 50, they've had a few more looks this quarter. It's just been poor ball use coming in, man. Shandon chipped this one over the top nicely, though. And here's a chance, perhaps, for Bales. Reardon got him just in the nick of time, but the goal's still on here, surely, for the Bombers. This is picked up by Mansell, and Mansell does break their duck. They get their first of the afternoon. It's been hard work and a long time coming. But the old 12-point swing around there after Tompkinson missed one he probably should have had at the other end. So, on the board, the Bombers.
It's a coach killer, that sort of stuff, isn't it? You miss an absolute gimme, and then they move it with haste down the other end and kick one from the opposite goal square. Trent Bomley would be far from impressed with that. But well done to young Oscar Mansell, brother of Ryan, of course, plying his trade in the AFL for Richmond Tigers. Not long ago, he was doing the exact same thing his brother is. So who knows? Oscar could follow in the footsteps of his brother. But importantly for North Launceston, they're on the board. It's Lee with an interesting attempted hit out. It was won by Clifford. A swinging fist from Cole in the direction of Lovell. Couldn't bring it under his spell. Be a good tackle applied by Ashland. And underneath that is Sulzberger. So again they go in the ruck. Lee taps over the back looking for Simpson. Handball just missed Sulzberger. Squeezed out the Tigers' way. Just clipping high was Clifford. Brad Cox-Goodyear shows some of his poise. Little pokey ball over the top, doesn't quite find its intended target. Sweeping handball in the middle, claimed by Cole. Cole got it over the top to Reardon. Reardon invites a little slips catch there for Ashland. Ashland onto the outer wing. Adams in acres of space. Kicking long, raking ball, looking for Tompkinson. I think he got a hand to that. Over the back, though, it's the Bombers. Through hands, they'll nervously work it out. And they're relieving kick and mark onto the wing, and it's Will Harper.
Harper keeps them moving over the top to Ben Simpson. Looks up, assesses the options, and just chips a little short one into space for Chug. Chug heads over the top in the Bales direction, floated over his head, and they're on here now, perhaps the Bombers, running the angle and slicing it across the face. A minor score only there. Missed opportunity. They are starting to at least create a little bit more. Get the ball inside 50.
It's a low percentage shot, that one.
And it really looks likely off the boot. As Reardon has hooked that one a little. Allowed Chug to get a fist in ahead of Ashland. Quite caught that how he would have liked Reardon. So Gardner up against Lee in the ruck contest. They've kicked the only goal of the quarter, have the Bombers. To make some inroads, Gardner won the clearance away, sent it in the lane direction, but he's going to run out of room on centre wing. I think there probably is a little wind factor play. It's kind of slightly easier to kick towards the end the Bombers are at the moment. Nothing too significant, however. Downer and Lee once more. Lee won it down decisively to Simpson. Simpson around the corner, through the hands of Reardon, picked up by Mansell, dished the handball to Shandon, went back to try and gather, and then he's claimed. And going nowhere, Shandon. Have a ball up.
So 16 and change gone in the second term. Explosive start from Kingborough. Bit of a lull in this second term as they've exchanged blows. That's a terrific grab from Jordan Lane. Dealt with his opponent. Now he steers the ball inside 50. Should have been cut off by the Bombers. Big fella Tompkinson arrives. He's only got one arm to work with. And climb on board. He's ever the agitator, isn't he? Tompkinson. Just not sure I'd want to shove him either. He's such a big boy. He taps this one down. Ashland squeezes out a kick. It was offhand, so they'll have to get rid of it quick smart. Hot ball to gather. Ashland again. The outside their right. Goes deep. Almost there for a swarm of Tigers players. They'll climb on top. It's off hands. Defender for the Bombers in Ahern. Thought he might have taken a grab. Not paid by the umpires. So Lee and Carter takes it out of the ruck. Helps himself. His kick. The little spin didn't quite work, a minor score, so they continue to add to it in singles.
Building a little picket fence of ones here in this quarter. That almost slipped high on Big Tompkinson, but did well just to keep a hold of it there. And the ball up again, not clean from the Bombers. Trying to exit defensive 50, but at least prevented Tigers from continuing the onslaught. Tompkinson got his kick away. Ashland almost getting it through, but Cox-Goodyear floated back and he just got a fingertip on it on the line. So another behind, 4 for the quarter. This one's outside defensive 50. Spoil came from Donnelly, but strength showing, good mark from Alex Lee. As they look to switch things across here through Simpson. Simpson just blasts into space. It's a nice kick here, and now a handball over the top. Not taken though by Mitchell, made a bit of a mess of that. Recovered well and laid a good tackle on Eddie Cole though. Recovered his error and forces a stoppage. Nicely done in the end by Mitchell. They're battling on. Gardner now up against Harrison Hobbs in the ruck for the Bombers. Won it down. First hand's Clifford, couldn't take it cleanly. Man, Shandon. Ashland. Find a handball too hot for Reardon. The Bombers get the ball back and now spread it wide. Here's an opportunity. Reardon lunging tackle. It gets around one. And there is a goal for the Bombers, and a badly needed one. Harry Bale snaps around the corner, and they're working their way back into it. They cut the margin to 22 points. As we tick towards red time, they've got the only 2 goals of the term.
Well, they've got to be happy, really. They've maximised their looks inside forward 50, and at the other end, Kingborough have been very wasteful. 5-6 plays 2-2. And they're half a sniff. 22 points, the margin, and to be honest, it should be a lot more.
Yeah, the Tigers have left a couple out there in this squad, haven't they? A couple of bad misses. Plenty of play inside 50, but they're doing a better job back there in defence this quarter, the Bombers. And as you say, they've taken a couple of chances now. They're making small inroads.
So Kingborough, all the goals in the first. So far, North Launceston, all the goals in the second, and that's a terrific crumb there by Clifford. He goes long looking for Lane, not quite. Graham will snap out to the right and doesn't get the journey. He's well gathered there by Goulding. Got his kick away. That was less impressive, but off hands. So in the right part of the ground at the very least. The Kingborough Tigers. So in it comes. Hobbs and Lane out the back. Unconvincing hit out either way. Carter tries to just drop the knees, and it's claiming a pretty good tackle. And the tackler in Lee Flang will be rewarded. Just trying to be very clever there.
That's the one they have been talking about, isn't it?
It
It's
is
the prime
indeed.
example of it.
It's the prime example as Lee Flang lets fly onto the wing. Gardner was underneath that. Griffiths spying it off. Wrestles with O'Neill for the footy. He's wrestling with teammate in the end as Cole came in and took the ball. And a tackle from Bennett. And it'll be another stoppage.
Gardner wins this down to Clifford. Swings the kick towards half forward. Griggs was there. Spoil came from behind. Handball from Lee Fang. Back into trouble. Ahern just got it away to Bennett in time. And quickly flicked over the top by Chug. So clear it up towards the wing. Playing in front was Hobbs. Couldn't bring it down. Swung off his handball was Hay. They've kept a hold of it well, though, the Bombers. Kept it moving forwards. And they got a little bit of territory as Pearce sees this one out of play. Certainly been a lot better in those contests in quarter number 2. It's going to stop the Tigers just being able to monopolise the football. Here in Lovell just doing his own thing really in the first term. One down by Hobbs. Around level, they'll battle again. The Rucks. It'll be the Tigers who take it away through Dygan. It's a good kick too. Into the middle, found a marking target in Salter. Salter sends it inside 50 in the Graham direction. Tompkinson couldn't take it cleanly. That just allowed Lee Fang back in. He gave it straight to Jordan Lane. Slung off his kick though. Another minor score. So they've kicked 5 behinds this term only, the Tigers. And I reckon there's been 2 or 3 out of bounds and out on the Fulls as well. They've had probably 8 chances. No goals to show for it, Gilly.
It'd be filthy in the box, no question. This Cox Goodyear goes long down the spine. Finds Lee Flang. So Lee Flang from the edge of the square, drops it off to Simpson. Good little shrugging move and found some space and the target. Bombers certainly been brighter in this second term. It's now with Sulzberger. He finds Event. Had a fair bit of the footy, Jack Event. Real connector for them. Looks inside. A couple of Bombers offering. Simpson now. Kick towards 50. Pearce trying for one out the back. Doesn't quite get to him. Bennett there. Climb on top of. Illegally, says the umpire. So a free kick to Tommy Bennett. Against Rees. Just a little clumsily landed on Bennett. Bennett. Kicking for North Launceston's third of the second term. And a pretty bright term for them in terms of scoreboard impact. A little bit of 40 this. Kick on its way. Beautiful contact straight through the middle, and North Launceston cut the margin to 17 points.
So often this is a game of taking your chances, and that's been the story here in quarter number 2. They're back within 17 points. They've kicked the only 3 goals of the term. The Tigers have still probably had the better of general play. They would have had more inside 50s. But if you can't put it on the scoreboard, it doesn't matter too much. And look, they're hanging in there. It's plucky stuff from the Bombers. They're taking their chances when they get them and just keeping themselves in the contest, which was the key after they were rather blown away in quarter number 1. And able to stabilise and just eating into this lead. So 3 goals to none for the term. If they could pull back another one before the half-time break, suddenly they'd be really fancying things. As Cole wins another clear and sends it forward, can the Tigers finally convert one of their entries here? Graham just taps it towards the boundary line. Then he gathers it and he's taken out of play, slung by Lee Flang, who wants a holding the ball call. None forthcoming. He tossed back into play. Deep in Tigers territory. Still holding sway by 17 points. Off the back of that dominant first quarter, led by 31 points at quarter time. One down by Hobbs. Be gathered by Cox Goodyear. Trying to get it out was Eddie Cole. Eventually it is released. Might be in the back against Digan, and then jumping on top of him was Chug. Umpire says I'll have it. Just the 3 goals for the term, so we've gone 26 plus change. Suspect not too much longer left as, again, the tackles fly in. Again, going absolutely nowhere. Was Cole on the bottom of that pack. Familiar sight. We go again here up against Simpson. The Bombers get first hands to it and they'll clear the area with a handball over the top to Hobbs. They work it down the line, and now Manshandon gave it to Cox Goodyear. Wants to turn onto that trusty left foot, and he does. He's given a good shepherd, and he punches this one forward in the Pierce direction. Had a little bit too much on, however. And Joey Bryant will take the relieving mark at half back. Goes sideways to Adams.
So Adams, in the shadows of half time, kicks down the line. It was a bit of a shocker, really, off his boot. Manshandon now kicks inside forward 50. Could invite in a late goal and some drama in this contest, as it was Mansell sweeping through with a handball. Almost jumped into the back of the Bomber there as Bennett ensures it won't go too far. It's Will Harper underneath, I thought. Almost had a cry for a free kick as Lee now in the ruck against Tompkinson. He wins it down, but it's all the Bombers. Pierce off for Event. Event inboard. Here's a voice. Off for Sulzberger. Bounds away. Kicks towards goal. Sulzberger. Just a minor score. It looked pretty good off the boot, but just faded. And the Bombers, it's a golden chance, really. So bring it out from defence, the Tigers, with Clifford.
So Clifford breathing a sigh of relief there, as it was nearly cut under 2 goals, and again, that one not paid high, and the siren will bail them out as the Bombers finish that quarter pretty nicely. They've cut the margin back to 16 points, a largely even second quarter, you'd say. The Tigers perhaps just shading things, but not on the scoreboard. They couldn't find a goal for all their inside 50 entries. They added just 5 behinds for the term. The Bombers, well, they kicked 3 goals. They've cut the margin back from 31 points to 16 at the halftime break. So a positive second term for the Bombers as they start the long road back after a disastrous quarter number 1.
Yeah, what a 15-point quarter advantage in the end for North Launceston. Yep. Not sure that's exactly how it played out. So if you're Brad Cox Goodyear, you gleefully take that into the sheds and just say, boys, we're in this. And they nearly could have pinched another right on the shadows of half-time there. I think Trempalma would be pretty peeved with their inaccuracy after a dominant first term where they kicked 5-2 to only register 5 behinds, and they had a couple out in the full as well. They'd be a bit frustrated because really they could have put the contest to bed.
Yeah, although I will say the chances were a little bit sharper in quarter number 2. A lot of them, I mean, they did. That Tompkinson miss in particular really stands out as one they should have had, but they at least were able to prevent, I guess, the string of marks that those Tools were taking in quarter number 1. I reckon they probably had 8 or 9 inside 50 marks from the big guys in quarter number 1. A lot less of that in the second term. There was a lot more snaps from close range. Chances you probably feel they should have taken, but I felt the defence, in particular the key position defence, really stiffened from the Bombers in that second term.
Yeah, no question. A much better second quarter for the Northern Bombers. The goals coming through Young, Mansell, Bales and Bennett. No goals in that quarter for the Tigers. Their first quarter goals coming through 2 from Gardner, Lovell, Carter, Tompkinson. That was probably the other thing. Lovell not as prolific in that second quarter, albeit hard to keep up the pace of the first term.
Yeah, I think he would have set a disposals record if he had kept going at the pace he was going. I reckon he had near 20 in that first term. Had it on a string. Started the quarter pretty brightly, but yeah, it's certainly quietened down a little bit, but it was an utterly unsustainable pace he was accruing disposals at.
So 16-point advantage the way of the hosts. North Launceston, of course, trying to pursue a spot in the top 4 and playoff in finals. Kingborough, you just consolidate where they sit in the pecking order. Pretty entertaining half of footy. We've got a whole nother half on the way. Stay with us on the Daily Potato Co live stream. It's the Kingborough Tigers leading North Launceston by 16 points.
we're back for the second half of this big round 18 game between Kingborough Tigers and North Launceston Bombers. It's the Tigers holding sway by 16 points at the main change. The Bombers eating into their lead a little with a 3-0-0 second term to claw their way back into this one. But as we head into the third quarter here, Damien, the Tigers still in control of this match.
They are indeed. They are indeed, but North Launceston are close enough if they're good enough. And I think it'd be what's being reinforced in the sheds at half-time from Brad Cox-Goodyear is they've given themselves half a sniff with that second-term performance. I think Kingborough's best looks too good, though, it has to be said. So fascinating second half on the way. I think the big thing in that second term that they would have taken out of it, North Lonnie, their defensive stuff a lot better, particularly with the big men.
They handled them a lot better in that second term as we're just waiting here for the all clear to start this second half. 3-0 in quarter number 2, but certainly the Tigers still had plenty of opportunities, just couldn't convert. Almost more efficient than they were. See if that continues here in quarter number 3 or whether the Tigers can wrestle back control. But looks like we're ready to go here. Quarter number 3. Tigers and Bombers, a massive third quarter coming up here. And the Bombers make their move. Gardner up against Lee. Lee won it down. Pearce in there now for the Bombers. That's an early change as Lee lays a strong tackle on Eddie Cole. He's been on the bottom of packs all afternoon, Eddie Cole, in his customary fashion. Fantastic player in this Tigers engine room. Lee up against Gardner, won it down to Simpson. His kick was smothered. Elijah Reardon now charging through, and he's bent solidly by Cox-Goodyear as the two superstars collide, but a free kick's been plucked here for some high contact. Go the way of Luke Graham. Graham sees the lead of Carter. Pretty well covered. He'll drive them deep in the lane direction. Couldn't quite pluck it. Ground level. And fight away for it. Pressure applied by O'Neill. Lane up against Lee in the ruck here. Lee looking to take it away, just ended up dropping it, then scooped it out to Pearce. Get clear, snapshot towards goal is floating all the way through, and I think that's Zach Adams who's just slammed it on the boot and got the Tigers first to the third term, and they extend the lead to 22.
He's just whacked that on the boot because he didn't have too many other options really, and it's just flown through perfectly. So the perfect start for the Kingborough Tigers. They'll be happy with that after a second quarter where they just couldn't find their way through the big sticks.
Yeah, right back to where they were in quarter number 1 there. Perhaps this is the scoring end this afternoon. Still got 100% of the goals kicked to this end, but Zach Adams.
That's a good point, actually.
Slamming it on there. And the 10th to be kicked to this end this afternoon. Or 9th, rather.
9th to that end. Very good point, Andrew Cooling, as we're back in the middle again. Kingborough looking to heap on more pain as Ashland's handball finds its way to Lee. Bang away with Sulzberger. No, it wasn't, sorry. It was Hay over the top to the big man Lee. He kicks a long-raking ball. Ree spying it off. Through his fingers, Sordy swats it over the line. The umpire with a decision to make, and he says, throw it on in. So 43 plays 21 on a sun-bathed Twin Ovals. Ball comes in. Gardner in the ruck just taps it down to the floor. Bennett picks it up. Does okay, but couldn't get the handball away. It was a good tackle provided by Cole. Adams, the most recent goal kicker. Bring the Tigers out of defence. He looks long and just strays too far wide, looking for Salter. The North Launceston ball via Bennett. Fletcher variety. Put some air on the kick. looks for some runners. All the talls were Tigers. Rees powers the ball out. That was good work from Brad Cox-Goodyear. He was in a sandwich. He gets onto that raking left boot. Long booming ball looking for Bennett. Not quite. Tap back to Bennett. Oh, luck's a fortune. Bennett pounces on the loose footy and puts it through, and North Launceston respond.
Yeah, well done by big Harry Hobbs there. Just saw his man over the top and just kind of whacked it to him. Got the hand in, and they get the first goal to that end of the afternoon. Get the response thereafter. Cut it back to 16 points, but Cox-Goodyear just pushing up the ground, winning a key contest there. That's half forward for his side. Get it in deep, and good things can happen. In the end, they're able to work it over the line. So, response from the Bombers, back to 16 points. So they've certainly looked dangerous inside that forward 50 arc since quarter time, although certainly getting it down there a little more often might be the bigger key. As Lee won it down, having an air swing with Ashland. Bouncing away into space, Eddie Cole just turns on the left. That's a pretty blatant push in the back from Cox-Goodyear. Gets away with it on Graham, not sure how. Clearing the area now is Lee Fang. All in dispute on the wing. Hay diving in the Bombers. The tackle applied from Nathan Pearce. And there'll be a stoppage. Where Tigers dominated them, really got a hold of them in quarter number one. They've fought back pretty well in that regard since Lee unable to get his kick away. As Cole smothered that, and then Lee falls on top of him, wraps him up. We'll go again. Goal apiece to start the third term. Gardner up against Lee. Lee won it down. Pearce besieged by Cole. Flipped over the top, didn't want to take possession, just slapped it on, ran into the tackle of Gardner. That's got to be holding the footy. Just took the big man Gardner on there. They laid a strong tackle on Hay. Got it moving quickly. They'll send it towards Jordan Lane. Plenty of numbers for the Bombers, and Lee Flang took a good intercept mark.
So Lee Flang has some early options on, straight down the Hay Diddle. Didn't opt that way, went out. The numbers out wide. It's now is Simpson. Back for Lee Flang. He got his ball away just in time. Came off the boot of Hay. Swatted away from Bennett. Almost for Manchanden. Coming well through was Godomski. Just swatted away a couple of tackles. O'Neill now pounces on the footy. Has a look at the sticks. O'Neill every bit of 40 metres. Wide to the left rather, and it's and then Curvis ball, taking the mark just inside the goal line. It's now with Griffiths. Just pops it over the top to Brad Cox-Goodyear. Inside he goes to Simpson. Simpson further into the corridor now they head. The Bombers looking for Salzberger out there. Doesn't reach him. It's a sloppy kick. Gardner now. Back the other way. Here he is, big Tyler Carter. Wheels and goes. Looks for Lane, just shy of him. Lee Flang battled pretty well, you got to say, as the hands come out just ahead of a tackle provided by Cole. Sweeping handball from Simpson. They move it further still. Off hands. Reardon now. Pounces on the loose footy. A wobbler in the arms of Gardner. Gardner, as ruckmen often do, look for the little handball. Try and make it someone else's problem, as off the hands of Cox-Goodyear. Good bit of bounce there from Griffiths. Over the top from Manchanden. Asks a lot of Cox-Goodyear, but if you're going to ask a lot of someone, it may as well be the best in the game, as it comes from him to event almost. Here is Manchanden, hemmed in the pocket. And as I'm not sure what went on there, but it's going to be thrown in. The camera sort of lost the footy, as it was meant to be a shot at goal. Went nowhere near Andrew Coolin.
Might have been Brewer who kicked it straight into there for the Tigers. Either way, throw in. Adams even, but Hobbs won that down ahead of Gardner. Pearce trying to come through, but they run out of room and have another throw in. Cox-Goodyear just pushing himself up the ground a little bit, getting more involved in quarter number 3. Influential to start this third quarter. Gardner against Lee once more. Lee trying to work Gardner under it. Gardner won it down to Adams. Flicked the handball over the top. And out off hands ahead of Reese. Another stoppage. Plenty of them here to start this third term. Kids down there on the hill. Enjoying the sunshine. A lovely day for football this. Gardner. That one down again. Boundary side. O'Neill charged on through. Griggs crashing on. Some good sharp hands from Eddie Cole, and they're able to get it over the top. But parked back there was Harrison Hobbs. He takes the relieving mark, chipped inside the leaf flank. He's fought his way back into this game nicely after a difficult start. That not so nice though. Kicked it straight to Elijah Reardon. He'll make them pay, Willie. Elijah Reardon stands it up. It's floating into the post.
Oh, what a shame.
Just drifting, and it denies Reardon a spectacular goal. The margin at 17.
Lee Flang out from full back. Here's Tyler Carter. He almost completes the transaction, just jumping up. That would have been an absolute ripper from Elijah Reardon. When the ball is in his vicinity, he's an exciting footballer. Probably took one of the greatest marks in the history of the TSL not long ago, a couple of seasons ago, as Ashland shakes off a tackle, shapes a shot, just sneaks in for a minor score. So they've been wayward, the Tigers, 6-9 now.
5-1 at one stage, weren't they?
They were lethal early. It's Cox-Goodyear from full back. Not sure what to do with Cox-Goodyear, but he's good enough just to take on a couple. His kick will earn a free kick for Sulzberger. Eyes weren't on it, Eddie Cole. So Sulzberger, it's long. That's an easy little one-hander by Clifford, but it was a pretty ordinary kick for Hay. Never to his advantage. Mark now for Cole. Sulzberger gave him a little bit on the way through. Cole now poking into the pocket. The tools arrive, and Jordan Lane, hands like a vice.
Yeah, good luck defending it when you can just stand it up at that height to this man. He's got a tremendous leap, and as you say, just about the safest hands in the league. Clunks that one. Chance store the margin back out to 24 points here. Talented player, Jordan Lane. He's having a very impressive season.
He is. One in a pack of tools down at Tigerland. He was a star performer of all of them. Of course, kicked the goal to see them over North Launceston last time they were out. This is a pain of 50. Kicks from about 45. It's on its way, and it is a terrific finish from Jordan Lane. The Kingborough Tigers edge back out. 24 points the margin. Really sharp stuff from this young footballer.
Well, they've made some more routine shots than that look rather difficult today, the Tigers. That one, a difficult shot, made to look easy. A beautiful kick from Lane, straight through the middle of the goals, straight over the goal umpire's head. Lovely execution there. And back out to 24 points. So, spawned it to the Bombers there. Gets a reward for a couple of minutes of play. Back to the middle we go. Hobbs against Gardner. Gardner won it down. Dygan unable to claim it. Simpson got it back to Hobbs. Hobbs now will send it deep in the Lee direction. Strong mark from Lee. The big man at the top of the square, just using his frame. And a strong pair of hands too from the Bombers ruckman for the immediate response there. Cut it back to 3 goals. And eases it through, made the goal umpire work a little, but gets the goal there, 5th. And the immediate response from the Bombers, that's just what you want to do when you concede one. Win it straight out of the middle, take a mark at the top of the square. Within 30 seconds, you've clawed it back.
I've just got a report from around the grounds. I haven't called his name in a little while. Kieran Lovell, calf. Explains a lot.
It does, because he had gone very quiet.
so quiet, he's off the ground. I think we'll find Andrew Cooley. He's after a blistering start. That's the blow the Tigers do not want on the edge of finals. That could be the story of the game as Clifford puts it off to Garner. Digan to Cole. Working through a web of handballs. Impressive stuff. Lane now, the target, doesn't quite get to him. Graham, almost. It's got O'Neill. Nuggety half forward, working hard too. Here comes Tyler Carter. Bustles his way through. Finds a handball and a target in Cole. A wrestle for it. Graham almost pierced the other way. Gardner couldn't gather. Coming through Manshanden. Picking up was O'Neill. Gets it through to Cole. Cole for Gardner. He just pops it up. That will surely not be 15. Off the hands of Lane. Gathered by Cole. Sloppy stuff here at the Twin Ovals. Good tackle from Lane. That was a chaotic 30 seconds or so. There's neither team convincing ball in hand. As umpire Geeson throws it up. Tyler Carter likes to take these ones out of the ruck. He isn't allowed to, as it's Hay who gets a kick away. Too hot there for Lee. Tigers again. Sordy inside forward 50. The target is Lane. I reckon he got enough of that one. The umpire doesn't agree. Simpson cops one right in the mush. Manshanden, good use and finds Event. Event now towards 50. Pierce the target. Got good position on Godomski, but didn't take the grab. Godomski looks to bound away, gets his handball away. They'll work it out. Get away with it, the Tigers. Really good grab taken out there by Golding. He will leave with the kick. Clifford, a little nudgy ball inside to Digan. And Golding again. Hands to Rees. Got himself a spot of bother here, the Tigers. Rees follows up with a tackle, but there we go. I thought Jordan Lane definitely had enough on it, Andrew Coolin.
Yeah, I thought did enough to be paid that one. The umpire didn't share that view as Eddie Cole flicks it over the top for Clifford. Clifford back to Cole. Cole retreating for Digan under pressure from Event. Slightly high fend off there from Clifford, and it has been called. Did seem to get Manshanden right in the schnoz there.
It's humorous how many times Manshanden gets caught high, and it has nothing to do with doing anything untoward. He's just a diminutive figure, isn't he?
He is, and he goes in hard as they've worked this one to Will Harper. And suddenly the Bombers have the chance here to close within 12 points. It is close as they have been since the very early going in this game, but workmanlike, they've ground their way back into it. And certainly Lovell off with a calf injury explains why they've been able to curve his dominance out of the middle. He's probably still going to end the game with 20 touches and a goal. They're still look pretty good on the stat sheet, but Harper for the Bombers can cut the margin to 12 points with a true kick here. He swings out to the left. It's floating across the face. Never really looked likely. A minor score only. And 17 points the margin as Donnelly taken out for the Tigers.
So Donnelly from full back. Kicks and finds Ashland, who had a lot of space. Doesn't use it to full advantage. He misses his target. Lee now with a problem. Elsewhere, Lawlow 45, lead Glenorchy 15, and Clarence 31, lead North Hobart 12. And round 18 action in the TSL. It's good mark taken by Salter. He wheels and goes. Inside 50. It's almost there. Tyler Carter, a clumsy old effort. Somehow squeezed the ball out with an outstretched leg. Everything he does is weird.
He's always making things happen.
But you can't take your eyes off him.
Oh,
He's box office, Tyler Carter. Entertaining figure. What will he do here? Out of the ruck. He's just got the kick away. Falls now to Cole. Bouncing towards Diagonov, liked his game. Steers it backwards. Commentary mockers right there as Bennett now jumps on in. Receives his handball back. Off for Simpson. Simpson, little one. He finds a runner in Chug. Chug now. Looking for Pearce. He's got Gadomski to contend with. Good tackle by Gadomski. And then Donnelly with a follow-up tackle. Terrific. Just all over Will Harper. Play goes on as Tigers come away with a footy somehow. As it's Cole who's keen to get it moving. Adams now. Towards the arc. O'Neill found a good bit of space on Cox Goodyear. Cox Goodyear does his best to buy some time to get the troops back.
Oh, that's close to 50.
Off now to Ashland. Flying shot towards goal is terrific. Straight through. Really good finish from the youngster. It's there for the handball receive, and the finish was delightful.
Yeah, just as the Bombers were looking to work their way back into this one, had a chance to cut it back within 2 goals. It's the Tigers who find the next one. A lovely kick from Ashland. They've missed some of the easier chances, but 2 pretty difficult ones they've dobbed here this term, and back out to a 23-point buffer as we tick towards red time in the 3rd term. And good response from them. And challenged by the Bombers, who fought back and worked their way back into it, but Tigers just able to get a responding goal every time and keep the margin out around 4 goals. So Event out after this one. He's been good. Can he have the immediate response? It's going all the way and marked on the line. Well, Harrison Hobbs would not want to have fumbled that one across the line. He'll go back and kick it. And for the 2nd time this quarter, the Bombers get a centre clearance and a goal and the immediate response. So they cut the margin back to 17 points. And Hobbs, the big ruckman, I reckon maybe just let that one float through in future.
It's always the debate, isn't it? Whether you take it on the line and make sure of it, or you let it go through. That one, I reckon you could have let go through, but better safe than sorry, I guess, would be his attitude. 17 points, just won't quite go away, North Launceston.
Yep.
It's annoyingly close if you're a Kingborough Tigers supporter, I'd say. They're just doing well to stay in the fight. It's Gardner. That was a clumsy effort. That would be a free kick. So Alex Lee's ball. He looks to go deep with his entry. There is Big Hobbs. He arrives on the scene. He was out hustled and out marked. So the Tigers ball deep in defence. 21 change gone here in the 3rd quarter as Donnelly, one of the very much improved players of this Tigers outfit, sweeps it across. If you are just joining us, I'm reliably informed a calf injury to Kieran Lovell. The only sour note so far for the Tigers is Babcock Goodyear with a bit of razzle-dazzle, gets by a couple. That powering long left boot, it keeps going. Wow. That went every bit of 65. A minor score. Impressive. And the coach of the Northern Bombers. Play continues. College hands it out. Come over the top to Rees, gets his hand away quickly. Clifford now, sweeping ball for Ashland, being busy, looking for Griggs. Can't get to the footy, jumps in the back of his opponent. And it's a Fletcher Bennett ball.
So Bennett for the Bombers. Trying to make some inroads here. Send them wide as pack forms. That's a good mark taken there. Strong at the front of the pack. Dropped in there. Wheeling and going is a Hearn, and it's a lovely kick straight to the big fella's advantage. Hobbs, who's starting to have an impact on things, the deep forward. And Harrison Hobbs, a chance his second in a couple of minutes to cut the margin back to 10 points. Tigers have kicked 3 goals this term. Each time the Bombers have responded with the next one. Consecutive goals for the first time this quarter. And to cut the margin to 10, Hobbs has missed. Oh dear. And a massive, massive let off there. Need to be nailing those chances. Reardon's kick floats over the top. Pressure applied by Dyke, and Hobbs with a chance for some immediate redemption. Will drive them deep once more. The spoil came just in the nick of time. Max College getting in there. Punches it out of play.
So, just hanging in here, the Northern Bombers. One more goal, and you just never know. It's felt like Kingborough's day, given their hot start, but Lovell out of the game, and they get their tails up. Who knows, as Simpson powers towards the square, that's a good defensive grab. Really sharp stuff in the last line there. So it comes onto the outer wing. Ashland for Salter. Just sold him a bit short with a kick. Good enough, this Connor Salter. Had a lot of footy for Glenorchy in a former life. He finds target in O'Neill. The way he goes about his game too, O'Neill. Unassuming half forward. Looking for Carter. Doesn't quite get to him. Handed out. Here's Salter again. Inside forward 50. Big Gardner. Strong. Really strong. It was Mitchell who came in and let him have it on the way through. Made him earn it. Gardner. Strong as an ox.
Those ones you just hate to have to sit underneath. You know the contact is coming. Did so well just to absorb the shock of that blow and still control the football, take the mark. Great work from big Marcus Gardner.
Kick 2 in the first quarter. This would be just what the doctor ordered for the Tigers, just to snuff out the North Launceston momentum. He sends it sailing, but it was always left. Minor score.
So 16 points the difference. Cox Goodyear from the restart. Might be time left for one more goal, but wouldn't be too long left here in the third term. Drives it in the middle. Oh, Godomski dropping one he should have had. Uncontested. O'Neill able to charge away with it all the same. To the favour of Cox Goodyear. Just keeps it out in front of himself cleverly ahead of Salter, and then rebounds. And again, O'Neill breaking it up nicely for the Tigers. Coming in was a Hearn, and just a little bit high there on O'Neill. He looks up. And find a late mark inside 50 here, the Tigers. North Coleman will go further afield in the lane direction. It wasn't really to his advantage though. Cox Goodyear got in there. They swing it deep inside 50, looking for Carter. Just dropped in the red basket, and somehow he plucks that one. Much to the delight of my co-commentator.
Here he is. They call him Worldwide Wob. I don't know what it means.
Call him what?
Worldwide Wob. That's the nickname at the Tigers for him. Or the Wob.
The Wob. Well, the Wob's had a profound impact.
I tell you, he's box office, this man.
He can extend the lead to 22 points in the shadows of three-quarter time. Tyler Carter. Oh, well, he is a mixed bag, as you've said, Killy. He's missed one he should have had there. It hasn't been the greatest display of goal kicking from both sides this afternoon, it has to be said.
Pretty ordinary, really. The Tigers now 8-11 after, I think, 5-1 to start the afternoon. So, yeah, no, not the best. Every time you pump someone up in commentary, you've got to be nervous. As Will Harper, pokey ball. Good enough to find its intended target in Ahern. Got himself in a spot of bother. Good enough to get out of it. Off for Simpson. Now Fletcher Bennett off his left. Finds Ahern. Ahern now. More penetration in this kick. Good effort from Mansell. Pounces on it. Edge of the square. Looking in the direction of Bennett. Really good grab. Really good grab from the experienced campaigner.
Really strong hands, Thomas Bennett. Always looked like he had his name written over that one. clunked it. And a massive, massive kick with the siren, I'd suggest, pretty imminent.
Good call, Drewy. Just would breathe real life into this contest. Cut it back to 11 points. Siren sounds. Can Bennett draw them within 2 kicks? Such his approach. Started right. Never looked like coming back. A missed opportunity for the Northern Bombers. Nevertheless, they're still in this ball game as we turn for the last.
Yeah, they've kept themselves in it. They've given themselves a chance as we head to the final term, but a couple of misses there. They'll be ruining, I suspect, those misses towards the end of the term. Of course, Calder had one of his own at the other end for the Tigers, but 3 goals apiece in that quarter, a quarter where the Tigers would kick a goal. The Bombers would respond almost immediately. And then both teams missing a couple they would have liked to end the term. And so largely we end where we started that quarter. Just under 3-goal margin, 16-point the lead for the Tigers. In control of the game, but haven't been able to put the Bombers away, who are just hanging around and making life uncomfortable for them.
Spot on, perfect summation, and I think the big story in that quarter was Kieran Lovell calf injury. So not only does that make the assignment of closing this out a little bit tougher, one less on the bench and your best player out of the game, it's also a big watch for the end of the season and the finals campaign that's approaching.
There was the 3 weeks to come after this before finals. Tigers, if they win today, I think they're absolutely locked into second spot. So it's certainly much more about managing the list and making sure everyone is primed for finals than even results over these last few weeks. But that'd be an enormous blow if they were to lose him for a final, because we saw in the first quarter here today just what sort of a player Kieran Lovell is. Exactly
right. I hope you've enjoyed the coverage so far. Daily Potato Co. live stream. Tigers, 59, play North Launceston 43. They're hanging around this young Northern Bombers outfit. Stay with us as we bring you the last quarter. An intriguing clash in the road to finals.
So, just about ready to go in the final term here at the Twin Ovals. The home side holding sway by 16 points. The visitors dire need of a victory today with their finals hopes very much on the line. If they're not going to win, they need to run them as close as possible, given how tight the percentage battle is between them and the Bombers from the south. But they'll certainly be giving it their all to try and rein in the Tigers and claim what would be a massive 4 points for their finals chances. Any chance, Damien Gill?
Yes, some chance. Got to remember, they've done it before down here at the Twins this year. On the first down, albeit they had all their Devils on that occasion, and they've got some quality Devils, have North Launceston. And the last time they ran the Tigers very, very close up on Newtown Stadium. So I don't see why not. They have some confidence among them. They're within touching distance, no Lovell. Why not?
They certainly made inroads. Held the margin in the last third quarter there. So a 3-goal gap for them to rein in, and early clearance will help them in that endeavour as events centred forward. Hobbs just lost his footing though, unfortunately. Mansell's claimed. A strong tackle by Brady Reese. So the Bombers going forwards here, looking for an early strike. Responding throughout the third term. Able to get consecutive goals, Elijah Reardon, silky as ever, as he just riffs off half-back and spies a target in the middle of the ground in lane. That's where he heads, drives it wide, where Connor Salter was waiting, just hesitated, ignored the lead of Carter into the pocket, and then instead gave it to Adams. Adams sets out for home and floats across the face. And getting back is Nankervis.
Nearly out in the full, that kick. There's Nankervis. Pokey ball over the top. It's peculiar. Finds Ives. Ives for Simpson. Had a fair bit of footy, Simpson. Prime mover. Used to be a bit part player in this side. Now, very important, that kick is an absolute shocker.
Straight to Luke Graham. Didn't look like going anywhere else.
Graham seems pretty keen on the sticks here.
55-metre kick. We saw Cox Goodyear let fly from outside 50 last term, and it carried all right.
Let's see what Luke Graham can produce. Been a quality player for an extended period of time now for the Tigers. Number 27. Kingborough, that doesn't at all look like threatening goal. It's an unconvincing rush behind from Ben Simpson. I think the little fumble towards the end might have saved him a deliberate rush there. They get away with one as he brings them back into play.
It's just in 10 metres, he's fine. Don't need to disguise it. This one's out the back. Elijah Reardon wins it back, and he'll pump him deep inside 50 once more. Let the big man get to work. Fell right to the path of Lane. Umpire waves advantage, and first blood in the final term goes the way of the home side. Jordan Lane kicking the goal and extending the lead to 23 points. In the context of this match, the first goal in this term always feels crucial to me.
His second of the afternoon, I think, Lane. He's, yeah, he had a quiet start, didn't he? But he's worked his way into the game well. I mean, anyone that comes up against Corey Nankervis has a hard day of it.
Yeah, they've kind of had the luxury of being able to kick to other matchups, going, all right, if he's got you covered, we've got other options, we've got high mismatches we can exploit. We'll go to Tompkinson, we'll go to Gardner. They've just had these big targets all day, and they've thrived.
Back in the middle again, Lee down. Simpson claims it, off for a vent. Brad Cox Goodyear now, put himself in the middle with a game on the line. Hands it off to a runner. Inside forward 50 from Sulzberger's boot. The big fella! Hobbs arrives. Heavy number on his back, not weighing him down. He now needs to go poke one through and get the immediate response for his footy club.
Missed one he surely should have had in that last quarter. They desperately need this goal.
Harrison Hobbs sends it straight through the middle, and just like that in a flash, North Launceston respond.
Well, it's been the pattern of the second half, really. Tigers have scored 4 goals, and the Bombers have scored their 4 goals in response. I think the last 3 have come within about 30 seconds of having conceded it. It just seems to be the pattern. No one can get consecutive goals. Bombers are going to need to. They're going to rein in this deficit, but the Tigers just unable to kick away from them. Just hanging with them, but they need to start stringing multiple goals together, which is what they've been unable to do in the second half. See if that can change here. Tigers still relatively in control, but missed some chances to cut it back within 10 points on a couple of occasions. The Bombers. Gardner out of the middle, wrapped up by Lee, claimed him. Digan did very good. Caught a little high there by Cox Goodyear. That'll be brought back. It's the veteran and star Bomber just injecting himself onto the ball to start this final term, and why not kick into traffic amongst 3 Bombers. The juggling mark taken by Graham, and Graham just stands it up in the lane direction, reaching back, couldn't quite bring it in. Neil at ground level, he's caught by Nankervis. Ives also in there. Another ball up inside 50 here early in the final term.
So umpire Geeson to throw it up inside attacking 50 for the Tigers, off the hands of Lane. At the back, Ives eventually gets it to Cox Goodyear. His ball's blocked, doesn't go too far. Digan been great today. Drops it off inside. Clifford now, a tumbler. Salter did well initially, and then a little untidy as he looked to get away. Lee Flang on top of him, asking a question of the umpire. He says, "Give it to me, fellas." So 66 plays 49, 9 goals, 12 the Tigers. They've left a few out there as Ashland just comes straight through. That is beautiful stuff from your on-baller. Pounced on it and put it straight through the middle, Drew.
Well, a day where everyone's been really struggling to kick for goal. Ashland's got 2 fantastic strikes, both from about 50 out, both just taking the ball from the contest and just smacking it through, no troubles at all. Lovely kicking from Ashland. And again, it's just an inability for the Bombers to string multiple goals together. Very hard to see them reeling in this deficit if that remains the case. They've just had the answers today, the Tigers, and really set it up in the first quarter, and since then they've just needed to kind of hold firm, and that's what they've done.
Well, North Lonnie will kick themselves for their start, really, because apart from that, they've been even money, haven't they, really, as it comes off hands to a vent, and it's going nowhere quick. Ashland had a good afternoon, hasn't he, doing the defensive stuff on that occasion. 2 goals to his name. It's Gardner swatting forward. Out the back is Cox Goodyear, trying to just keep them in this game. Finds a vent. He kicks the contest, but Donnelly led in that one and took a really nice grab. Become a rock-solid player in this outfit, Ben Donnelly.
Had a good game this afternoon, hasn't he? He's won most of the contests he's competed in.
Off to Graham. Starting to get into the game the longer it goes on, as Brad Cox Goodyear just everywhere, man, right now. His handball is being pinged as a throw and doesn't look too impressed. So Ashland again. Inside forward 50. The Talls will go at it. Lane almost. Try and get it out of dodge. It's a smothered effort. Lee Flang hands over the top. Event now. Over for Cox Goodyear. Cox Goodyear looks inboard. Dinky little handball. Enough to keep it moving for the Northern Bombers. Here is Big Hobbs. Most recent goal kicker for the Northern outfit. He's got flat feet ahead of him, unfortunately. Chipping ball. Asks a bit of Griffiths too much as Reardon takes it gleefully.
So Elijah Reardon. What's he gonna produce here? Just opts to thump one down the wing. Fisted forward by Gardner cleverly. Flang able to take it away though. And Lee will sweep the handball. Did no favours there for Nankervis. Sulzberger rather, went in there. They'll sweep it down the outer wing by hands. Sulzberger Bennett, Reardon and Sordy both combined for a little double act on the spoil there, making doubly sure how the play it goes. Pretty tough defensive unit to crack. Today has this Tigers back six. It's a good year on the ball. Has been busy in the opening 10 minutes of this final term. Gets another disposal here, flicks it back to Event. It's been consistent throughout the afternoon. Went looking for Pearce, taken away from him by Godomski, who bounds away, kept a hold of it nicely down the wing. That looked a little in the back there. Free kick will go the way of the Tigers. Down a wing.
He's had a lot of the ball in this quarter already, Luke Graham.
Busy. Another half forward. Real hard worker for this team. He just stands this one up. Wasn't a great kick. A couple of bombers there. Ives and out the back, Lee Flang. A handballer between themselves, and eventually Nankervis will exit it out of the defence. Bennett flew, couldn't bring it down. Eddie Cole trying to skip away. Handballed it forward, and now they're on here. The Tigers searching kick from their Bombers, able to drop back into the space though. Theo Ives clears the immediate vicinity, and it'll be the Tigers to regain the ball through Donnelly. Flicked it over the top, found Adams. Adams sets this one up for the big guys to fly at it, but Bennett takes it away, and the Bombers again look to charge out of defence. Swings it across to Lee. Big Alex Lee gathers and has to wait for a few leads to develop. Hobbs has gotten busy in this final term. He hits up and drops the handball off. They'll send it inside 50, looking for Thomas Bennett. Reardon in from the side, did well. Now across with the spoil, Godomski with a strong tackle. And then that will be locked up. All up inside 50 for the Bombers.
So time ticking away from the Northern Bombers. They need something quick, smart if they're any chance in this one, as the hit out goes straight into the arms of Kingborough skipper Clifford. Down in a tackle as hit out's down to Event on this occasion. He couldn't quite get away. Cole does, but there's a throw to get it to him. So the North Launceston ball. It'll be Jack Ahern from every bit of 50. Fancy look for Hobbs or Bennett with a deep kick. Little shimmy and shake and fake, and that's a shocker. Straight in the arms of Reardon, who honestly had no one in the same postcode as him.
Would he get round the man on the mark a little easier than he's in there, I think.
It was puzzling, to say the least, but I think you're right. I think, yeah, he had an idea in his head, and when it didn't go to plan B was not there for him.
The man who was in that space had teared off in the lead sideways, expecting to be fed there. It wasn't able to get the kick away. Here's Clifford. Squares it up. Clever ball for Ashland, who's been super impressive this afternoon. That not so impressive. Straight over the head. Lee Flang in there. Ives rather for the Bombers. Handball away,
Donnelly,
but turned it over to Donnelly, who's also impressed. He's just held up here, had absolutely nothing on further ahead, nor did Reardon, so just tries to launch it in the air to buy time for someone to get there, but nobody's getting to that one. Out on the full.
He sent that back to his former club, Signet. That's how far he's kicked that.
He's going, well, no one's there now, but if we kick it really high, by the time it lands, maybe they will be.
By the time it lands, you'll be so old you aren't playing footy anymore. That's how, jeepers, creepers. Little pokey ball invites in Simpson. That was great to see. Love a weird moment in a game of footy as it's Cox Goodyear. That's got to be, it's either 50 or play on, isn't it?
Must be. It's clearly 50, surely. Hang on.
Lenient umpire. Digan has pushed that a fair way as it's Cox Goodyear. Piercing ball, really good. Finds Sulzberger. He pokes into the pocket. coming and flying for it was Big Hobbs. He creates a good contest. Rees squeezes it out off for Gardner. We'll come back with GST with Bales. Bales gets a little bit of real estate to work in, but got him into a bit of trouble. Off to the big man Lee. He powers towards the contest. They fly for it, punched away. It falls for Northonty to fire at goal, and in the end it's out on the full and the Tigers ball as we tick beyond 14 minutes here in the last term.
So Cooper Sorty, last line of defence. Here's the 50, always the favour of the pair of Bombers there. Cox Goodyear's gotten busy here in the last. Flicked the handball over the top to Lee. Tackled by Gardner, lingered a little. Tigers recapture the football and swing it wide over the head of Nankervis, who leads back in the chase. Got some support from Harper, who came through for the Bombers. Drives it up towards Simpson, just pitched in front of him. Gathered and then swings it back to Cox Goodyear again. Cox Goodyear with a rare miss kick though, straight down the throat of Donnelly. He's just held up is Ben Donnelly. A stack of marks today. They've got the overlap on this side through Griggs, so that's where they head. Adams in support, and he can work it over the top to Rees. Rees now will punch them a little bit deeper. Plenty of Bombers parked back there. Oh, spilling one, he should have had Harper. Gave it to Bennett. Under pressure, retreats to Nankervis. Shug negotiated that pretty well as they clear defensive 50. Godomski drapes all over Ahern, but he completes the mark all the same. Then he turns it straight over to Clifford. Some of the foot skills have been pretty poor this afternoon here as Adams, Graham rather, pokes that one out looking for O'Neill. Gets rid of one. O'Neill has some time to steady himself and drive it deep.
Oh,
Come on the line.
Oh, pay it. Pay it.
If Damien Gill was an umpire, it would have been a certain mark. The umpire says no. Multiple hands in it and a behind.
I don't think he was anywhere near taking that, but it was entertaining nonetheless, as he always is, as Bales brings him out from half back. Be able to keep it moving north Launceston. It's cut off. Good defensive grab taken by Brower. So he bounds away. Looking in the direction of Lane, over his head. Be able to mop it up north Launceston. Simpson, he sold his teammate in all sorts of trouble with that sweeping handball. Zach Adams had pounced on it.
Bay was feeling that one. Copped a firm hit.
So Lane in the ruck against Lee. Lane down. Simpson, good hands. Off to Cox Goodyear. His kick is always laying in the arms of Big Gardner, who's had a pretty handy day. The big men don't get any shorter as the day ticks on, and he goes long. Lane, really good hands. He was in a nest of Bombers. The only one in yellow and black there, and he came down with it.
Yeah, he's one of the best marks in the competition, Jordan Lane. Quite in the first half, he's really made his presence felt in the second half. Probably taken over from Tompkinson a bit in that regard. He's that kind of focal point, and yeah, he's an impressive talent. And he's just got better and better as this game has worn on, Jordan Lane.
So Jordan Lane. Make sure of this. I think the margin would be too much already. It would definitely be too much if Lane can steer it through. Beyond 50, starts to approach out to the right, swings his kick back to perfection. Jordan Lane kicks another, and the Kingborough Tigers are going to win this afternoon at Twin Ovals.
Yeah, first time anyone's kicked consecutive goals in this second half. Extends the lead back out to 30 points, and look, they've been in control. The Tigers, you've never really sensed that the Bombers are going to be able to get a run on and kick 3 or 4 in a row and overhaul them. They've just kept them at arm's length since that explosive start to the game. And 5 goals at the margin now. They're going to get the win, and I think the Bombers have got to keep fighting the final siren because of how important percentage may well be. Can't afford to let a couple of late goals concede here and blow out to a 7 or 8 goal loss. That could have very serious ramifications in 2 or 3 weeks' time.
Good point. Very good point as Gardner wins it down to Cole. Vent climbs on top of him. That's going nowhere fast. Lane, that was his third of the day. After being well held early, he's been probably the pick of the forwards for today as Event finds his target. Little ball to Hay. Hay now looking for Bennett. Fisted away from him by Sordy. Good defensive stuff. Well done, Cole. Off for Ashland. This midfield's functioned well, even with Lovell going down as Nankervis gets separation and takes a good grab. Plays a percentage with his kick. Off there for Salzburger. They bound away. It was Hay. Now trouble. Trouble, trouble, trouble. There's Declan Chugg, who did not hear O'Neill breathing down, but he arrived, tackled well. Kicks now in the direction of Carter, doesn't get to him. Fletcher Bennett taking the relieving mark and unlocking Griffiths. He's found some space on the wing. Little dink inside. Out there for Bales. Bales back for Griffiths. He's got a couple to deal with. He's brought unstuck. Really good tackle in the finish by Golding. Just hung around.
Super from Golding. As we tick into red time in the final quarter. Done enough here. The Tigers are an impressive display set up by a blistering opening quarter led by Kieran Lovell, who is the big concern for them out of this one, a calf injury. Certainly have him up against it. 3 weeks till finals. He was absolutely dominant up till that point, but able to overcome his absence in the second half as Tyler Carter has been at the centre of much of their attacking play today. Lively as ever. Plenty of chaos as per usual. Just been too strong here at the Tigers. It's been an impressive performance from them. Set to finish second on the ladder this year. Probably loom as the biggest threat to the red-hot favourites in Launceston as the Bombers try and clear the area. Adams almost stretching to intercept that one at full stretch. He then lays the tackle. Somehow extracting it there was Event. They're going to clear the area, although a little hand on it impacts the kick. And will force the turnover back the other way. Overrunning it, though, was Golding. That's all right, because he had reason support. He punches one out there. Finds O'Neill. Really impressed with his work this afternoon.
He's a good player, isn't he?
Just the pressure he brings off the ball really stand out.
Here he
Carter
is.
again somehow flux it and just shows it to Leaflang, if you don't mind. That's what it looks like, son, he says.
Oh, you can't do that. I can't believe he's just done that. Extraordinary.
If he kicked like a dozen on him, maybe, but it feels a bit harsh. Leaflang's fought pretty hard, I reckon. Taking a few intercepts anyway. Can he walk the walk as well as talking the talk? No, not on this occasion. A minor score only. It extends the lead to 31 points. He is an entertainer, this man.
He is, and the moment he showed him the footy, he was missing. There's no question, he was not kicking it. There's Griffiths takes the ball, kicks inside. There he is, Elijah Reardon, chopped off well off half back today. He kicks long, looking for that man, Carter. A hot chip eating, chicken nugget, I think is the other one he eats. I think it's hot chips, white bread, chicken nuggets, something like that. That's his diet, all the food groups.
It's a real healthy balance there.
All the food groups. And the other thing, goals. He hasn't quite dined out today. As it comes on, here he is, Carter, hands off. Salter with a bit of a shimmy, into trouble now. Simpson bearing down on him. Comes out the back to Cole. Almost for Cole. And finds its way over. So in the end, a pretty handy victory for Kingborough. 11-14, 7-7. They'd like to clean that up and at least have it the other way around, 14-11. The game looks far more comfortable, but 80 plays 49. You take that more times than you won't, as Cole, one hand, gathers the footy and then event climbs on top. But yeah, their midfield and their defence in particular being terrific. A full connection, probably not 100% today, but all things equal, pretty good afternoon as North Lonnie try and progress it down the line. Not to be, as it bounces out of play.
They're going to need to tidy up the goal kicking. It's probably going to be the main thing they'll focus on. Evan Yell's 14 and a few pretty bad shanks out on the full too, so certainly an area that could be better. And if they are going to push Launceston in the finals, fancy they're going to need to take their chances. Probably unlikely to be outplaying them for multiple quarters. When they get their periods in the ascendancy, which their midfield will hand them, they're going to need to be a little more efficient in that forward 50 than they have been today.
No question. I agree with you. They're going to need to be ruthless if they're going to win the premiership. As it's event now, looking in the direction of Hobbs. He's battled hard, tried his best out there. Is a pretty good effort, really, with a crumb. And that's a decent finish in the end by Will Harper. Cuts the margin back, and you spoke about percentage before. I'll take every goal they can get today, North Lonnie.
Yeah, could well be crucial. I mean, they've got basically the same final month as Lauderdale Bombers, the same three opponents, and they had the bye, so they started the day level on points and slightly behind in percentage. Fancy both teams should be beating Glenorchy and North Hobart, getting 2 wins there. They're now going to obviously have to hope that the Tigers get the job done over Lauderdale when they next meet. Because if Lauderdale were to do it, then it would be out of their hands from that point. But percentage still very likely to be what separates the two teams, I reckon, by the end of the year. So absolutely crucial they finish this one out.
The other one, Drewy, in this one, Tompkinson, we haven't seen him for a while. I just asked a few at the ground. Ankle for Tompkinson, so albeit a good performance, and they're going to get the 4 points and good win as Reardon just waltzes on in, looks at the sticks and misfires. Albeit terrific performance. Tompkinson ankle, Lovell calf, not ideal.
Could be a bit of a Pyrrhic victory, that one. That's it's just about, it's your best player and structurally one of your most important. That's an enormous block. Two of your very best. They'll certainly be hoping nothing that'll keep them out in the long term. I suppose they got the luxury in that they don't really need the wins in the next couple of weeks.
Well, they've got Glenorchy next week, and then Launceston, and then Lauderdale to finish this season. So, interesting how that plays out. Just quickly around the grounds, which makes percentage a bit more important. 67 to 23 down at Lauderdale. So, it was important North Lonnie closed it out in a way that kept them somewhere thereabouts. But a good win, all in all, for the Kingborough Tigers. Pretty impressive across the 4 quarters. The first one in particular, Andrew Cooling.
Yeah, set the game up in quarter number 1. Kicked those first 5 goals of the game, and it was well within their keeping. From that point, they just kind of held off the Bombers. They could never get a run of goals on. They kicked all the 3 goals in the second quarter, 8 into the margin, and really from there it just kind of hovered at around about 15 to 25 points for the vast majority of the afternoon. And that's how it's ended up, a 26-point win. Pretty accomplished display from the Tigers. They'll be happy with that, and probably noticeable they did, not surprising, they did drop off a little, given Lovell and Tompkinson weren't really sighted in the second half with those injuries, and they were super in that first half.
Yeah, indeed, absolutely. And yeah, they did what they had to. Professional unit, closed out the game, had a good advantage early, and then just held it from there on in. North Lonnie applied themselves well, I thought, and stayed in the fight and wouldn't go away. But yeah, you always felt that Kingborough just that touch too good. And there we see Kieran Lovell in the tights and the hoodie. Not moving too poorly, so fingers crossed for the Tigers. Tompkinson also in similar attire. So a good outing for Trent Bulmer's men. Another win to chalk up. North Lonnie they won't be wrapped, but they stayed close enough. From a percentage point of view, it hasn't been dire. They take little wins and stay in the fight for finals. Chief destroyers for the Tigers from a goal kicking point of view. Gardner kicked 2, Lane with 3, all in the second half. Lovell kicked an absolute beauty in the first quarter before he departed. Ashland also kicked 2. Terrific day on ball, but their midfield work was probably the real feature.
I thought Cole and Digan in particular were absolutely super around the ball all afternoon. Eddie Cole at the bottom of packs, just living, getting first touch time and time again, feeding out. And yeah, Digan was super. Lovell running the show whilst he was out there in the first half. And that just allowed them to control the game there, winning first possession so much, whereas the Bombers had a tough time retaining possession. They certainly got better as the afternoon wore on. I thought Cox Goodyear moved in there in the last quarter was probably as good as they looked in there all day, but ultimately I think that's where this game was won. The midfield seized control early. They were able therefore to isolate the big men in one-on-one matchups when they went inside 50, and they've just got so many, it's so hard to cover them. They always seem to have a favourable matchup to kick to.
They do. Good afternoon if you're a fan of the yellow and black. They win, and win pretty well in the end, 81-55. North Launceston won't lose fans. They battle away hard, but a win for the Kingborough Tigers. They continue a good season in 2022 and their march towards September. Thanks for joining us here on the Daily Potato Co live stream. It's been a pleasure bringing it live to you. Join us next week for more TSL action. Bye for now.